Hello everyone, my name is Springfred, and before I start this video, I'm very sorry to break it to you guys. I know many of you have feared this day would come, but I have to tell you, I have a Twitter account now. The link's in the description, go follow me there. I'll probably be posting updates about the channel and my really bad attempts at art. Now with that obnoxious self-promotion out of the way, let's get into the video. My first Fnaf related video in over a year. So Fnaf turned 5 today, and I have no idea how it's been that long. One day I'm watching the trailer for Fnaf 2, I blink and it's been 5 years. So normally Scott Cawthon posts these behind the scenes screenshots of the various characters throughout the games for the anniversaries. So when I checked Scott Games earlier today, that was what I was expecting. However, I was quite surprised to see this. This seems to be the first time we've gotten one of those super cryptic yet intriguing Fnaf teasers since Sister Location. This new game seems to be set in a shopping mall. This mall does look a lot like Starcourt Mall from Stranger Things Season 3. So could this new game be set in the 80s? And if you remember from the ending of Fnaf 6, everything was destroyed. William Afton and Henry Emily were both incinerated at the end of the game. Fazbear Incorporated even being liquidated too. Yet here we are. So between the 80s aesthetic and the fact that any of this exists at all, I can safely say that this game is set in the 1980s. Which was also kind of the golden age of Fnaf, where we had animatronics like Circus Baby, which were a lot higher budget, and these animatronics seem to be pretty fancy as well. Now speaking of the animatronics, 3 of these guys seem to be completely new, the only familiar face of the bunch being Freddy. The one on the far right seems to be a furry, foxy creature. The one next to her looks like a horse, as it seems to have a horse-like mane, tail, and snout. And finally, the one to the left may be some variant of Chica. Now these robots are performing in front of a large audience, not just a small group of impatient 7-year-olds. This seems to be a legit concert venue. The robots are even outside of the pizzeria in the main area of the mall. The release date is sadly 2020, meaning we won't get to play this game for quite some time. There are several secrets hidden in the source code. Stay the course. I will. Focus on my voice. I will. Don't let anyone lead you astray. I won't. Have you selected one? I have. Now there is so little information here, all we can do is speculate, but I have a few theories. This scene may depict William Afton trying to convince someone to transfer their soul to a robot, and as we know, he was obsessed with doing that. The person talking here could be one of his test subjects or victims. The line, "Have you selected one?" could mean he has selected which robot he wants to infuse his soul with. Now the way this character gave such mindless answers and the lines of "focus on my voice" almost made it seem like our character was in some sort of hypnotic trance. This character probably did not want to do this voluntarily and could have been hypnotized by William Afton. Now this is complete speculation, but speculation is just about all we can do until we get more information regarding this topic. FNAFworld.com also posted a teaser simply saying 58. At least until you brighten it up, then Scott just starts roasting the fandom. These are the quotes that it says. Am I a joke to you, Fnaf fan? I stopped caring after Dream Theory, Reddit user. It's like he doesn't even care anymore, random person. 5 years for this? Concerned citizen. Probably the worst idea he's ever had, Fnaf fan. So this seems to be Scott predicting the fandom's reaction to whatever this Project 58 is, in the most passive-aggressive way possible, reminiscent of the Scott Cawthon's fight from Fnaf World. And this is on FNAFworld.com after all. Even the title 58 may be a reference to FNAF 57, a minigame from Fnaf World. And on Scott's Steam page, he said that he's put a game called FNAF Into Madness on hold to work on Project 58. And earlier he said that FNAF Into Madness was similar to Fnaf World. So if there's even a chance that this means Update 3 for the game, I will be very happy. I know that a lot of people hated Fnaf World, but I really liked it. In fact, I played it on this channel more than any other game. So if it is getting updated, I find that pretty exciting. Now I want to talk about / critique FNAF as a whole for a second, what I would love to see in this new game. The aptly named Project 9 will be the 9th FNAF game made by Scott Cawthon. I really hope that this game manages to do something different, as the FNAF series has done more or less the same thing for 5 years now. And without the interesting story, I don't feel like FNAF would have gone as long as it has. I'm not saying that the games are bad. I'm just saying over the 8 games, the gameplay has gotten a bit stale. Most of the gameplay throughout the games has been completely the same, with little to no change between installments. I'm not counting VR because that was made by another company. And I guess that's part of the reason I liked FNAF World so much, was because it was completely unique. Even if it was a bit disjointed, it was different from anything we'd seen in the series. And I hope that this game stands out like FNAF World did, like VR did. So now I want to talk about a few things that I feel like would make this game stand out. I would love to have the ability to free roam a FNAF game. I know that Click Team is very limited. Maybe if Scott and his team could port the game to another engine like Unreal or Unity. Another thing I'd love to see is if this game could explore other horror elements than just cheap jump scares. I'm not saying get rid of jump scares, I just think FNAF should explore other types of horror. Some good examples of games that have jump scares but don't completely rely on them are Bendy and the Ink Machine and Dark Deception. Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 3 was one of the scariest things I've ever played, and it barely had a single jump scare in it. Back when FNAF 1 came out, the reason I got interested in it wasn't because of the story, as there were very few people talking about it back then. It was because of how novel the game was. It was so simple yet so effective, and that's what I'm hoping these new games will be able to capture. Sorry if I rambled so much in this video. I know it was a complete mess, but I've been wanting to do a kind of critique of the FNAF series for quite a while now. I just didn't know when to do it, as FNAF VR kind of slipped by me. So, bye.